Hey guys, happy Friday. All right, like I told you yesterday, um, I obviously am not here today, but I am close by, so make sure you're being good. Um, Today we're going to talk about combining like terms. So what I need you guys to do is get out your packets, your note packets, and we're going to start off with our essential question. So our essential question for today is how do you combine like terms? Um, So make sure you get that written in your note packets. You can pause the video for a second if you need some time to write it down. Make sure you're following along. Um, First off, we have to figure out what terms are in order to understand what like terms are. So what a term is it's just like um, it's just a number and a variable. So something like 4x would be a term. And 10y and um, 17m, 19n, those are all considered terms. Okay? Now, if we wanted to talk about like terms, something like 4x and 10x would be like terms because they have the same variable to them. 4x and 10x. So what we would be able to do there is we would be able to take both of those terms and add them together. So 4x plus 10x, you would add together and that would give you 14x. 18y and 12y, right? If we add those together, again, because they have that same variable. So you would say that if you added them together, that would be 30y. Some examples of unlike terms would be something like 4x and 12y. Okay, those are not like because they do not have the same variable to them. They are different variables. Something else that, we might not always think about, and maybe this isn't something we've talked about a ton yet, but something like 4x and 10x squared. Okay, this x and the x squared, those are not the same thing. So if you see something with an exponent, like an exponent is just this little 2 that you see up in the corner, um, those are not like terms. So you cannot combine them at all. X squared, x, y, they basically need to be the exact same letter or both numbers in order for them to be like terms. So I'm going to go back to the like terms. 5 and 6 are like terms because they don't have any variables with them. We can add 5 and 6 together to get 11. Okay, now let's get to some of these examples. And I'm not going to go through all of them with you guys, but I will leave my note packet with the sub so that you can check whatever answers you need to. Okay, so let's take a look at this first example here. We have 2y and 3y. Those variables are the exact same, y and y. So we can take the 2 and the 3 and add them together. So 2y plus 3y, 2 plus 3, you would come up with 5y. If we take a look at the second example, same thing. We have two m's. We have 7m and 3m. As long as they're the exact same, we can add those two together. So when I add them together, that gives me 10m. Okay, now our third example, we have 5x and 14x. Since we have the same variable, we can end up subtracting those. So we would end up with negative 9x, because 5 minus 14 we subtract them, we end up with -9. Okay, let's keep looking here. Looks like we've got a few examples. Looks like we end up with a pretty big one down at the bottom. If we take a look at this example in the upper left-hand corner, n plus 3n plus 5m, first thing we have to do is we have to identify what our like terms are. I see an n. Do I see another n anywhere in the problem? Yes, I do. I see a 3n. And then 5m, that's different. So as you can see, I'm highlighting that in a different color. So I'm just going to highlight the, add those two terms that are like, that are the same color. So my answer would turn out to be 4n plus 5m. If we take a look at this next problem, I guess from here on out, you guys, my main suggestion is, grab a couple of different highlighters or, use a different symbol to help you identify different variables. So like if I take a couple of different colors here and I find, okay, I'm going to highlight all of the ones that are J's in blue. I'm going to highlight all of the X's in this green so that I can find them really quickly. So if I take 3J plus 6J, I end up with 9J. If I take 8X plus 4X, that's going to give me 12X. And that would just be my answer then. Okay, let's say I don't have any highlighters, I just have my pencil. What I would do is I would go through and I would, maybe circle all of the B's. So I have 14B and I have -3B. Maybe I decide to, squiggly underline the Y's so that I can spot those out quickly and easily. Maybe you put a box around one variable or you put a triangle around another variable. Just something so that you can easily find all of your like terms so that you can combine them. Okay, so now if I start subtracting, we've got 14b and we've got -3b. 14 minus 3 would be 11b. And then if I take 9 minus 12, that would give me -3y. And again, that just turns out to be my answer. Okay, now I really strongly suggest that you guys pause the video, take a second, and find all of the like terms in the next two problems. Whoops. In the next two problems. Okay, so take a second, look them over. Okay. Here's my G. Where are my other G's? Let's see, that's -19F, -13F. Here's a -7G. And then that 6, it doesn't have a G with it, so I can't combine it. But if I start now looking for all of the F's, I just have those two. So I'm going to go through now. I'm going to combine the -16G and the -7G. I'd have -23G, -19 and +13F. So I would have -6F. And then you guys, that 6 doesn't have any variable with it, so I can't combine it with the G or the F. It's just got to be on its own, so it's just got to be +6 at the end. So that turns out to be my answer. Okay, now hopefully you guys have taken a second to find all the like terms here. I'm going to circle all of the A's that I can find. Let's see, that next one is a B, and I've got a C. I've got another B and another C. So that other A is way at the end. Now I've got negative 9A and positive 9A. Those are going to end up canceling each other out. Let's take a look at these B's next then. So I'm just going to do a little squiggly underline there. Do I see any other B's anywhere? Yes, I do. I see the 2B. So if I take negative 8B plus 2B, that should be negative 6B. All right, I'm going to try and find all the C's now. So negative 7C and negative 2C should give me negative 9C. Okay, so there is that one. Let's take a look at this bottom one, and then we'll take a look at a couple others on the next slide. Okay, so again, oh wow, we've got a lot of stuff going on here. Let's find all of our like terms. There's my x. I've also got a 4x, and that's positive. I've also got a negative 7x. Doesn't look like there's any other x's. I've got a negative 6y, then I've got 10z, negative 9y. Okay, there's a z. No more z's. But I do have two numbers, so I've got 15 and 4, so I'll end up adding those in just a second. Okay, let's take a look at the x's. So I've got 8x and 4x. If I add those together, that gives me 12x. I've got negative 6y. Where's my other y? There it is. Negative 6 and negative 9, which would give me negative 15y. And then let's see, the z's. There's just the one z. So that would be 10z for that one. And then I've got 15 and 4, so I have to have plus 19 on the end. So there it is. Okay, let's take a look at this next slide really quick because I think, yeah, now with these, they're not only having you guys simplify, but they're also having you distribute. So remember, we talked about distribution yesterday. So this isn't anything new, and you guys hopefully had a chance to look over some of your answers from your homework last night. So if I take a look at this first problem, my first thing is I've got to take this 3 and I have to distribute it through. So that's 3a plus 3b plus 7a. Now I'm searching for my like terms. I've got those two a's, so 3 and 7 would give me 10a plus 3b. And that's all I have to do. Okay, if we look at that middle one again, I have to distribute that 8 through. So I have 8g plus 8h plus 3h. These are my two like terms. There aren't any other g's, so I have 8g plus 11h. Okay. Now if I move on to this third one over here, again, kind of a similar process now, but what they've done is they've taken the distribution and they've moved it in a little bit instead of having it be right out in the front. Okay, this process is no different. You're taking this 2 and you're distributing it through. So I have 5 plus 2x minus, now I've got 2 times 8, which gives me 16y plus 10y. Okay, now we've got to search for those like terms. Whoops. Don't know what happened there. There we go. Okay. So we have to search for those like terms again. Okay. So let's see. Any other x's that I can see? Nope, no more x's. I have negative 16y and I have 10y, but those are my only like terms. So if I go ahead and I start combining some of those, 5, there aren't any other constant terms, so I'm just going to leave 5 by itself. Then I've got 2x. Now I've got to combine negative 16 and positive 10 for a negative 6y. Okay, now I'm not planning on going through every single one of these with you guys, which I'm sure is a sigh of relief for you. But I do want to do, let's do this one. We will do this one right below it. Ooh, this one's a big one. So we'll do this one, then we'll do these two shapes down on the bottom. So 5 problems left. Okay. So here with this negative 6k minus 2, the reason I want to do this one is because, again, they move that distribution in just a little bit, but you have to take that negative 2. You have to bring that negative along with the 2. Okay, that's really why I wanted to talk about this problem. So I've got negative 6k minus 2k, and then I've got negative 2, right? Negative 2 times 9, which gives me negative 18. Okay, so that negative has to come with. I've got to search for those like terms now. So negative 6 and negative 2. I've got negative 8k minus 18. So there it is. It's all simplified, ready to go. So I've got what did I say? 4 left? 4 left. Here with this next one in the upper left-hand corner. Now they're going to have you distribute twice. They're going to have you distribute here, and they're going to have you distribute here. So negative 8t, so that negative 4 times 2 gives you negative 8. Negative 4 times 3 gives you negative 12u. And then that back distribution, so with this 6 here, it's positive, so you don't really have to worry about anything there. 6 times 1 just gives you 6. 6 times 7 gives you 42, so that would be plus 42u. Okay, now we got to search for those like terms again. I don't see any other t's, so I think that 8t is the only one. Negative 12u and 42u. Okay, so if I start writing out my answer, I've got negative 8t. If I combine those u's, I have negative 12 plus 42 turns out to be plus 30u and then plus 6. So there's my answer. Again, you guys make sure you're following along, getting all of this written down. I will check your notes on Monday. So make sure that you're being good, following, listening. Okay. The last problem that's got some distribution to it. Okay, now we have to distribute 3 times. But we're going to just keep on doing that same process. For this first one, we're going to distribute here. For this second one, we're going to distribute that -4. And for this third one, we're going to distribute just this 10. Okay, so now if I go ahead and I simplify, I've got 8a plus 8b. I've got, so if I start distributing this -4, -4 times 5, that'd be -20a, -4 times 7b, I give that -28b, and then 10, distribute that 10 through, which gives us 10 times 6 is 60a, 10 times -2 is -20b. Okay, there's an a. I've got a -20a. I've got a 60a. Okay, let's think about this for a second. If I add / subtract all of those numbers, if I combine all of those like terms, let's see, 60 and -20, that'd be 40. 40 plus 8, that would be 68a. I've got to search for all of the b's. I've got 8b, I've got -28b, and -20b. If I combine all those, I believe I would have -40b. And that's all I need there. Okay. Last two. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. So for these last two problems, you guys, we're just trying to find the perimeter. We're trying to find the perimeter of this triangle. We're trying to find the perimeter of this odd shape here. And you guys know that the perimeter is just all of the sides added together. So it's x plus 5, it's this side, plus this side, 2x plus 7, plus this side. And you're just, again, trying to find all those common terms. Let's take all those x's, let's add those together. It should be 7x. We've got to find all of the just plain old numbers with no variables with them, which I believe turns into 13. Same thing for this last example. You're finding the perimeter, so you're just taking all of these sides and adding them together. 2x plus 1 plus 2x plus 1 plus x plus x plus 1 plus x plus 1. Oh no, I'm going to run out of room. And then I'm going to add it just to the front here, plus x. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I've got all the sides covered. Let's find all those x's. We'll just do like a little squiggly line underneath them to help us identify them easier. Let's see, 2, 3. I believe I come up with 8 x's. And then for just those plain old numbers again, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. So it would be 8x plus 4. Okay, I am done talking. You need to get out your packets that have all those homework sheets in them that I gave you yesterday. And I'm not totally sure off the top of my head what they are. So I'm going to let the sub tell you which pages you're supposed to do. Make sure you have them done by Monday, so you've got the rest of the time to work. Use your time. All right. Have a good rest of your day. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday.